This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to show 403 of Aussie Mac Zone. Zarn, how are you today, my friend?
Good, Michael. How are you?
Very good, thanks, mate. Very good, yeah.
Excellent.
Now, speaking of someone who's not quite very good, this is our Aussie Apple Ramblings, but our friend of the show, Glenn, our very important friend of the show, Glenn, is very sick.
That's not
So
good.
we want him to get better, please.
Absolutely.
So everybody that does the praying, do the praying. Everybody that does the wishing, do the wishing, please. So he's struggling along, so it's very important.
Is he okay? Is he just like sick with the flu, or is he?
He's got complications after getting COVID.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he's battling on very much at the moment. So now let's see where I can get up to. Story one. That doesn't block the picture that I'm talking about. No. Interesting. Anyway, iCloud Keychain is becoming a better password manager in iOS 15.4. You can now add notes to saved passwords. So when you go in there, you'll see a field. The Macworld reports one of the most underrated features of iOS is the built-in password manager that lets you store and sync your logins across all your devices, and it's about to get even better. While you're already able to create your own logins without needing to visit a site first, the iOS 15.4 beta also lets you add notes to a password you already created. That means you can add security questions, answers, PIN codes, or previous passwords alongside your login and protect it with Face ID or Touch ID. It's not quite as convenient as 1Password or LastPass, which lets you store notes independent of passwords, but Apple has the Notes app for that. Now, you can't add a note until a password has already been created, so you need to track down your saved passwords. You'll find them in the Password tab in Settings. You'll need to use Face ID or enter your passcode to authenticate. And once you do, you'll see a list of all your logins. Select any of them and you'll see, a new Add Notes button. Tap it and a text box will appear. Type what you want and tap Done in the top right corner. It's an excellent feature that fills one of the biggest gaps between Apple's and other third-party password managers, and we expect it to launch with 15.4 in late February or March. Because 15.4 is in beta at the moment and it's working fine. Because some of your security questions is enter one of your old passwords when you're trying to reset a password that you've forgotten, etc. So yeah, excellent. Good to see that they're still working on it. It's not just left in the dark.
Awesome.
Yeah. I use it a lot. I use it for everything. So yeah, I love it.
Story two.
Story two.
The Mac is Apple's new secret weapon. BGR.com reports Apple's earning report from its most recent holiday quarter was record-breaking across several metrics. From revenue to overall earnings, Apple completely and enthusiastically surpassed analyst expectations, setting new milestones for both quarterly revenue and net income is no small feat. This is especially true for a company that already generates billions of dollars in revenue. Diving a bit deeper into Apple's earnings report, there's one trending trend line That's especially noteworthy. MacBook Air and Pro sales are exploding. For the quarter gone, Mac sales generated $10.8 billion in revenue. That's a whopping 26% increase in Mac-based revenue compared to the same quarter a year ago and over the last 4 years. Mac sales have skyrocketed by nearly 60%. That's unabashedly astonishing. It's hard to remember the last time we've seen like a traditional PC sale jump up so drastically.
That's right. Yeah, it's a massive
In the
amount.
world that is primarily mobile orientated, Apple has miraculously managed to create excitement around brand new laptops thanks to new design, a willingness to fix mistakes, and of course, Apple's in-house design line of MX processors. The M1 is a game changer. The metrics Apple showcased when it first introduced the M1 processor was so beyond the realm of expectations that even many Apple supporters were curiously optimistic. But when those first M1 laptops started shipping, reviewers quickly discovered that the M1 lived up to the hype and then some.
Yeah.
Performance gains and the power efficiency that the M1 brings to the table accomplished something that was seemingly impossible. It managed to get people hyped up about computer hardware. Sure, we've seen Apple iterate on the MacBook and the iMac line, and sure, there is the Mac Pro, but Apple's line of M1 laptops is the first time in a long time that we've seen genuine excitement for entry-level Macs from non-pro users.
Yes.
In the typical Apple fashion, we've already seen Apple iterate upon the M1 with the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips, introducing the company's new MacBook Pro models. Looking ahead, Apple later this year will likely introduce a revamped MacBook Air with an M2 processor. The overreaching point here is the Apple with M1 set a completely new bar for laptop performance. In a market that was seemingly stagnant, Apple injected a breath of fresh air and demonstrated that its chip expertise is something to marvel at. Expertise, yeah, there we go.
Yes.
As
Yeah.
a quick aside, I don't know why I couldn't say that. It just wouldn't come out of my mouth. And as a quick aside, Apple's M series processor afford Apple the opportunity to part ways with Intel. This means that Apple products won't ship months later than anticipated because of hold-ups in Intel's chip development process.
Yeah.
And bringing processor development in-house, also helps pad Apple's bottom line. Brand new MacBook Pro design is a huge win. Aside from new processors, we're also starting to see some from factor changes to Apple's MacBook lineup. Case in point, Apple's brand new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models. Apple's latest MacBook Pros are stunning, and thanks to iPhone-inspired notch design, afford users even more screen real estate without necessitating whatever that is, and from the fact that the new MacBook Pro models don't have a true edge-to-edge display, but it's the closest we've come thus far. What's more, there are also rumors that Apple's next-gen MacBook Air will borrow some design elements from the MacBook Pro in a sphere that will see similar bezels and notch design. This is also worth noting that everything about Apple's laptop has improved drastically in recent years, from storage options and speaker quality to display technology and battery efficiency. It's all trending up, while laptops from other companies have improved Apple has improved its MacBook line by leaps and bounds. On a related note, Apple has finally shown a penchant for listening to consumer feedback. The butterfly keyboard design that caused users so many headaches is now a thing of the past. Further, Apple's new MacBook Pro models bring back a variety of ports that Apple bizarrely got rid of a few years ago as part of a misguided effort to deliver an insanely slender form factor. But differently, Apple is in designing its new MacBook Pro models finally listened to feedback from its base of professional users. The end result in the Apple's notebook lineup today is more compelling and exciting than it's been in years. Coincidentally, it's no surprise that Mac sales are accelerating at a rate that rivals PC manufacturers simply can't keep up with. More in the show notes.
Of course.
So what do you think?
Yeah, like they've got their own.
Where have you gone?
I'm here. Yeah, so speaker quality. It's because they've got their own sound department specialising in improving sound in every device that we've got.
Yeah.
They've got their own battery specialists. They've got control over what can use the battery and when it can use it. They've got that's part of the chip design, which they've got their own chip designers. Like,
yeah,
that's why everything's going forward in leaps and bounds. So, and yeah, that can only get better when the rest of the products come out this year that are all M1 or M2 based. They're all Apple based. Can only get better from there. Like, and then Intel need to do something massively dramatic to come close. Like it's just with like CES in January in America, the Consumer Electronics Show.
Yeah.
Intel released machines that are as fast as the MacBook Air, for example.
Yeah.
But the fan noise is amazing because to get that fast, they need heaps of thermals, which means the batteries don't last as long. Things like that, It's just, and yes, Intel's got to sell to 100 different customers, where Apple's got to sell to one. So
yeah, and it's not just that too. Like with the with what's going on with Intel and its chip supply and everything like that, where Apple's not having that problem anymore.
No,
we're doing this in house where there's no issues there.
They're getting ridiculously late all the time. So yep. So good on Apple. Thank you. Now, this is going on further from last week. Aussie competition watchdog investigating Meta, formerly Facebook, over crypto scam ads. The news comes one day after billionaire Andrew Twiggy Forrest, which we talked about last week, announced he would be mounting legal action against the social media giant. Cointelegraph reports Australia's consumer and competition watchdog is investigating Facebook's parent company Meta for a long-running series of fraudulent cryptocurrency advertisements on the platform. The news comes just a day after Cointelegraph reported that billionaire businessman Andrew Twiggy Forrest was pursuing criminal action against the social media giant for allegedly serving users crypto scam ads and fake articles that used his name and likeness. Numerous other high-profile celebrities, from Hugh Jackman to Nicole Kidman, have been fraudulently employed to draw users into investment scams. The ACCC alleges that Meta allowed the crypto scammers to breach Australian consumer law, defrauding victims of hundreds of thousands of dollars. In Thursday, comments to the Australian, the ACCC Chair Rod Sims said that although their investigation shares similarities with Forrest's case, the ACCC investigation is separate and concerns different questions of law. While Forrest's case concerns potential breaches of Australian Commonwealth Criminal Code, the ACCC will examine whether Meta has raised concerns under the Australia Consumer Law. Like Dr. Forrest, we consider that Meta should be doing more to detect, prevent, and remove false or misleading advertisements from the Facebook platform so that consumers are not misled and scammers are prevented from reaching potential victims. Forrest claims that by failing to take sufficient steps to eliminate the scam from being shared on its platform, Meta is not only in breach of Australia's money laundering laws, but also behaved in criminal, reckless manner. He will initially bring his case to the West Australia Magistrates Court on March 28, with a committal hearing expected later in the year. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. He also launched a simultaneous civil proceeding with the Superior Court of California last September, seeking injunctive relief. The case is still pending, with the date of the civil case yet to be set. In 2020, the Australian Securities and Investments Commission issued a warning on fake celebrity-endorsed crypto ads, including Jackman, Kidman, and Waleed Ali. Other celebrities, including Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Richard Branson, have also had their images stolen for crypto scams.
Yeah.
Australian Facebook users have reported losing hundreds of thousands to the scam, including one alleged victim who told the Australian that they thought the scam was legitimate because it featured Forrest. Andrew Forrest is an icon for millions of Australians, and you hold him in high regard. Anything involving him you think is legitimate because it's coming out in public through Facebook, they said. In 2019, Forrest was among several Australian celebrities, including Kate Winslet, who were falsely quoted as giving testimony for a fraudulent cryptocurrency. One version of the scam quoted the celebs in fake mainstream news articles advertising a fake Bitcoin investment platform. As reported by Cointelegraph in August 2021, investment scams cost Australian investors more than $50.5 million in the first 6 months of 2021, with crypto scams contributing to more than 50% of the losses. And there is some more, of course, in the show notes, a link in the show notes.
This, I've seen the scams online, and especially the ones with Elon. On Facebook, and it's always like, even Elon, gets into Bitcoin and or crypto, see how Elon made money on crypto, and then there's a testimony by him, and you're wanting to go in and check out cryptocurrency. But also remember, speaking of scams, remember those text messages for your packages and things like that. They aren't real.
That's
just
right.
delete them. Don't open them. Don't click on the links. I've been absolutely bombarded with them in the last 4 days. So clearly they've set up a new system, and they're coming at us, I should say.
That's right.
Again. So just remember, they're not real. Delete them. Don't open them. Don't click the link. I think in the last 4 days, I've got 8 on Saturday, 5 Sunday, 8 Monday, and I got I think 6 yesterday and 3 today so far. Just absolutely flat out.
And it should be. The phone company should be doing a better job.
Absolutely.
So yes. Next story, please, sir.
Yes, next story. So, 1 moment. Sorry, guys. I'm still not in notes. Finally, Android users can turn iMessage reactions into emojis.
Yes.
I was unaware that if I sent those emojis from my iPhone to an Android phone that they weren't already emojis. So I've been sending people, I don't know, weird collaborations things for years now. We welcome an end to text-based message reactions with open arms. Lifehacker reports 6 weeks after its major software update, Apple is now releasing tvOS 15.3, HomePad 15.3 to all users. Means I've got 15.3 on my tvOS, which is awesome. I love my Apple TV, by the way. I absolutely love it.
Yep.
And I've got more than one. Actually, I think we've got 3 or 4 in this house. Can't remember, but we've got a few. And they're just the best thing ever. While there are some who will fight tooth and nail to say whether iOS or Android is the superior smartphone platform, most of us can get along just fine with one another. Green bubbles be damned. What isn't fun is when iMessage reactions from iPhones called, what are they, tapbacks, come into Androids as a full text. What would appear on an iPhone as a thumbs up arrives as Jack Peterson.
Yeah.
Link want to go to a movie. No idea.
Yeah. Instead of having, like, if you say, do you want to go to a movie?
Yeah. And I said
like,
no.
If Jay, and you said thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so what arrived? Sorry, if you asked Jake if you wanted to go to the movie,
yeah,
you send a thumbs up, but he sends one and it goes, Jake Peterson want to go to a movie.
Yeah.
Right, because there might have been 3 or 4 of you, right?
Yeah.
So some might have sent thumbs up and some, but because.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so well, I use them all the time, so I had no idea that they actually didn't go across. You've probably told me 100 times, but I just assumed that an emoji is emoji. Like,
well, iPhone to iPhone doesn't matter, but iPhone to non-iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a great news. Google is implementing a fix for this problem. A new feature lets you choose to have all iMessage reactions appear as emojis in Google Messages, rather than an annoying block of text that doesn't really get the point across. See, because I send like laughy, teary faces all the time, especially if I'm talking to Jake or if I'm talking to my mate Ben or Adam or whatever. I'll say some sort of smart aleck comment
but
with the laughs.
What devices do they got? But
Android.
Yeah.
They've all got Android devices. Like Jake has an Android. Yeah, they've all got Android devices. And I've been sitting and laughing at them.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have got those. They probably don't even know what I've sent afterwards. It's probably just gibberish.
That's right. What's this boring bloke doing?
I don't know. Google decided to go with smileys rather than more straightforward icons like and dislike reactions. Still come in as thumbs up and thumbs down respectively. However, the results are not the same. A love heart on iOS in the smiley face with heart eyes emoji on Android. So I'll say love and then a smiley face.
Yeah.
A question mark on iOS is the thinking face emoji on Android. Emphasize an exclamation mark on iOS is the face with open mouth emoji on Android. Laugh, a haha icon on iOS is the face with tears of joy emoji on Android. Well, that's the one okay.
Yeah.
True, there's not much of a non-smiley equivalent of haha, but the other reactions might not give off the same message that your iPhone friend was going for. They might love a message because it's good news, and seeing a smiley face with heart eyes could give off the wrong idea. Still, I'll take the wrong idea over annoying text-based reactions any day. However, this move only applies to Android. Unfortunately, even with the new features in place, those of us on iOS will still see reactions written in group chat with Android users. To fix that now falls on Apple's shoulders. So, in short, don't hold your breath. How to turn iMessage reactions into emojis on the PlayStation. I'm so sorry. On Android. Google hasn't rolled the feature out to everyone yet. Instead, you'll need to opt through Google Messages beta, but joining the beta is easy. Go to Play Store, then search Google Messages. Make sure you have the app downloaded. If not, then on the same page, scroll down to join the beta, tap join, then tap join again on the pop-up. It might take a few minutes for your account to be added to the beta. Once you're in, you should start seeing reactions enabled by default. If not, you can check on the show iPhone reactions as emoji option in messages by tapping the three dots in the top right, then settings advanced.
That's
if
it.
you need more of that information, please check our show notes. There's a full link there that will explain that to you.
Yep. So, IT help to you. That's me. So, keeping IT simple. I've been a Mac person for over 38 years. Sorry, I've been an Apple, over 38 years now, 38 years and 2 weeks. But, an Apple person, been doing IT support for nearly that long and still doing it. So, anything you want to ask us, email us, just send in a question and we'll do our damnedest to help you. Doesn't matter where you're from, what the question is. We'll try and help. ithelptoyou.com.au. Simple to look up. Yeah. Now, we got any gaming?
No.
No?
Simple reason is I can't get into my arcade accounts. I'm having a couple of issues. It's my end, not their end. And so I haven't done any gaming. Well, I've played my old games, but I haven't done any new gaming this week. I apologise for that. I'll do a double game next week. Sorry.
All right, no worries. So, we think Apple TV Plus isn't a threat to Netflix? Think again. Hope is not lost for Apple's beleaguered TV Plus streaming service, but it needs to change course now. Macworld, again, he now claims now not to remember this, but a former editor of Tech Advisor once told me that one of two things was sure to happen in the coming years. Either Google Plus would succeed or Google as a whole would fail. We've all got things wrong. I speak from bitter experience, and my intention with that example is not to gloat, but to highlight an aspect of tech development that can be easy for even wise observers to miss. The tendency of powerful companies to lose focus and give up on things. As a corporate entity, Google loves chucking things at the wall to see if they stick, but it also fond of wandering off and letting someone else clean up the mess. Google product development has a higher death rate than Game of Thrones.
Uh,
But I don't want to talk
but it
about
hasn't got
Google.
more boobs, though.
I want to talk about another tech company that pairs market dominance with the fickle attention span of a millennial goldfish. Apple. Right now, Apple's attention span is being severely tested. Will it give up on its cherished but somewhat beleaguered TV Plus, or will it make the moves to take on and take down its biggest competitors? Disloyalty is the new loyalty. We will get to Apple in a moment, I promise. But first, we need to discuss the battle between two other streaming players. After a glorious few years, the future is starting to look uncertain for Netflix. It's set to be outperformed by Disney, analysts say, and faces disappointing US subscriber numbers and slowing growth.
Yep.
In terms of direct competition, Netflix could lose around 750,000 UK-based subscribers to Disney because the latter has poached several popular shows. Shows such as Modern Family, How I Met Your Mother, both of which evidently have greater user loyalty than Netflix itself.
Yep.
This is a key part of the equation when trying to work out which streaming service will prosper in the future. Disloyalty is the norm. People don't subscribe to Netflix because they have a deep emotional connection to the brand. It's because the shows that they enjoy. Famously, NBC based the pricing tiers of its Peacock streaming service on how much of The Office you want to watch, acknowledging once and for all that content is king. When users do stick with one service, is far more likely to be a result of inertia than loyalty, which cannot be depended upon. Netflix, NBC, Amazon Prime Video, and most other players in the streaming market face the disturbing reality that users will end their subscription as soon as shows go somewhere else. One solution would be to make original programming you can guarantee will be exclusive to your platform, and original programming is nice for generating news coverage. But the reality, as Hannah Carlton observed, is that streaming success, particularly during the pandemic, has been based on nostalgia.
Yep.
New shows like Squid Game can be hugely popular for a time, but the shows that rack up hours and hours of repeat views and ensure user retention in the long term are the golden oldies we wrap around ourselves like a warm blanket. So here's what we've learned.
True.
Yes. Yeah. Here's what we've learned so far. Users are loyal to content, not streaming services.
Yep.
Original shows make headlines, but repeats win customer retention. Now let's apply those lessons to Apple, a different kind of brand. Netflix and Amazon and the rest suffer from fragile brand loyalty and are seen by customers simply purveyors of content. But certain streaming services can transcend that. One is Disney, a brand with which customers have profound emotional connection forged in childhood, which is true, yeah. And the other is Apple. Apple is the king of brand loyalty, is universally recognizable, has a long history with customers, and constantly works to make its marketing about the Apple lifestyle rather than simply the product it sells. It has mind share to die for. On top of which, Apple has a route into home which no other streamer can boast. A vast user base of iPhone, iPad, and Apple TV owners, all of them accessible for Apple TV Plus messaging and free trials. It's a phenomenal advantage. If Apple TV Plus can turn itself into one of the must-have services, Apple's army of existing customers would be rushing to sign up. Netflix and Disney may have strong brand recognition, but they don't have a brand that's tied to a device. Quite simple, Apple doesn't have the problems faced by Netflix and other streaming services when it comes to loyalty. There's a bit more to the story, again in the show notes.
So,
now, yeah.
With this, I agree. Look, I like Apple TV Plus. I use it. like kids like Fraggle Rock and stuff, but they don't have the nostalgia that Disney brings, for one.
Mm-hmm.
Disney has every single old school movie it's ever made, which is just fantastic. I love that stuff, and I grew up watching that with my nan. And I love my nan. Like, she is my favorite person in the whole world besides my wife and my children. Then my nan is there. So that is just, it brings back absolute beautiful memories. Watching Bedknobs and Broomstick, Sword in the Stone, that sort of stuff. So it definitely has a bit of a brand loyalty. Yes, Apple has a similar loyalty because Apple fans use a lot of Apple products. But to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff you want to watch on Apple, you've even though you're already subscribed to Apple Plus, you've still got to pay for because it's not their content. They're just bringing it over and they've got it for sale, which it doesn't work. I think you by maybe upping the price, it's a few dollars, and bringing that stuff over so it has a base like that would work so much better, and bringing back stuff that you can't find anywhere else. He-Man, the original series. There was also another series they brought out in the early 2000s that was really good. Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon series, is absolutely phenomenal. It still rates today. Like, I love that cartoon series. It's what got me into playing Dungeons and Dragons, and what made me understand the game better. That cartoon is absolutely brilliant. And on saying that too, if they picked that series up and did it quickly, they would have a bigger sort of fan, because Disney have already just done a D&D based cartoon movie. Onward is a D&D based cartoon. If they realised, hang on a second, Dungeons and Dragons from the 80s is over here, and they brought that in across, then you'd be in trouble. They wouldn't anyway, because it was never made by Disney as such. But stuff like that. There's some great 80s sitcoms and 90s sitcoms that fly under the radar. That one with Balky, he's a long lost cousin. And I can't remember the name of the show right now. I'd need to Google it. But hang on a second. Let me Google it. Give me 2 seconds. I'll Google it and I'll tell you. There it is. Perfect Strangers. All right. If only we had assistants for this stuff. No. Perfect Strangers, it was called, and it was hilarious. If they sort of started grabbing stuff like that. I've been watching, like, especially since lockdowns and COVID and everything like that. I've been watching so much older TV shows. I've gone back. I've watched a whole bunch of 90s cops movies. It's a TV series. Hammer, I think his name was. It's a terrible, terrible detective show from the 80s. It has very little respect for women. And, the cop detective in it is a Clint Eastwood lookalike. Again, terrible, but I remember it from when I was a kid, and it's funny. No TV streaming system has Dukes of Hazzard because of the racial, sort of connection to it, because they have the rebel flag painted on the roof of their car. And the song's got "Just a Good Old Boy." So that's sort of looked at, frowned upon. But with Disney, when you watch the older cartoons, even DuckTales, DuckTales, they put a disclaimer before you watch it. So every episode that seems a little bit cringy, they put a disclaimer up and says this was made at another time. Some of the views and we do not condone, but here it is. That's what you need to do. Like, I never realized as a kid that the Dukes of Hazzard was racist. and I don't think they did either. And
different times.
Sorry,
different times.
Absolutely. If you pull stuff across like that, I love Dukes of Hazzard. I'm a huge fan. And I'm part of an Indigenous community of Australia, and I have no problem with that past. Yes, it's horrible, and we need to recognise what happened and things like that. But it was just a TV show,
Yeah, but as long as you recognise it's happened, as long as people recognise it happened, but and understand it.
Yes, that it's not.
But don't let it control you.
That's right. It's happened. It was, and back then the treatment, and even today the treatment of people of colour and of different races can be horrible at times and can be devastating at times. But the only way we're going to change that is by recognise it, and we say enough is enough. But a TV show that really had nothing to do with racism except for a few iconic symbols that are now used for that.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyway, enough of Dukes of Hazzard. That's what I'm saying. Shows like that, I think if Apple, sort of brought some, shows that probably wouldn't cost them too much. They are on they just did make a fair bit of profit. And they brought them over and put them on their streaming channel. So you would go on there and watch that sort of stuff. Herman's Head. Do you remember Herman's Head?
Vaguely.
Night Court.
Yeah, Night Court. Yeah. Night Court. Yeah.
Yeah, Night Court was hilarious. Yeah, you've got Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
Even I've got BritBox now, and they've got The Goodies, Open All Hours, Young Ones, Bottom, Bastard, Bastard, like Rick Mail. They've got Porridge. They've got a whole bunch of stuff from the 70s and 80s. That was all their sitcoms, from back then. That are hilarious.
And don't forget, if you can't afford, not everyone can afford not only Apple TV Plus, but even the lower end ones, right?
Yeah.
YouTube. Yes, you get ads.
Yeah.
Yes, you get ads, but you get ads. Doesn't matter where you watch things these days, basically. Yeah. I've been enjoying two old, and I know I've talked about on the show, two old detective series like from the 50s.
Yeah.
British ones.
Yeah.
I've been watching The Saint. I keep watching a couple of episodes a week of the old ones of the Saint.
That's what I'm talking about. The Saint, Roger Moore. Right.
Yeah, all of those really good.
Do action. Right.
So something to look forward to.
Yeah, and there's stuff like that. I love The Saint. I love especially all that sort of stuff. The Avengers. Yeah. I'm not talking about the new movies or the Marvel.
Nah.
I'm talking about
the Avengers
series. Avengers.
Yeah.
Great series. Absolutely great series. And that's what we need to, you pick up stuff like that. We could do, Aussie, you get some Aussie sitcoms, like you can play it to your regions as well. In Australia, you can get some of the old, silly Aussie, sitcoms from the 80s and 90s that were funny. As long as you don't, as long as you're not doing Hey Dad, we should be fine. Too soon.
I thought that actually wasn't the show good. It was what happened off the show that was bad.
The show was, look, I was a huge fan. I am definitely not now, and I do not condone what that man did. He is a sex offender, and it's horrible. And I do not condone that. He should rot in hell. But this show was good, it was a funny show. And on things like that. There's one with John English in it, where he's an old hippie, found out he had 2 kids, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That was great. I actually think that might be on Stan or Amazon. I'm not sure. There's a whole bunch of old ABC stuff.
Yeah.
That was absolutely
floating around.
fantastic.
Yeah,
The
just
big gig,
go into iView. There's heaps of stuff on iView.
oh, there's heaps of stuff on iView.
Yeah,
The big gig,
just,
I loved the big gig. Do you remember
yeah,
the big gig?
yeah,
Yeah, that was excellent. And they had Wendy Palmer was the host.
yeah, yeah.
Is that her name? Wendy Harper.
Hammer. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hammer.
yeah. Sorry, Wendy. You're an Australian icon comedian. I love you, and I apologise for the mispronunciation of your name.
But even like SBS Direct,
Yeah,
as well,
SBS Direct
they've
is
got
fantastic.
shows. Yeah,
Yeah, they do a lot of that stuff. That's what I'm saying. If they want to stay in that genre of Netflix, Amazon, and that sort of stuff, maybe they should start bringing some of those things across. Not just doing. Like, don't get me wrong, their original stuff is fantastic. It's so well made.
Yeah.
It is just a pleasure to watch. I think the gaming, what was it called? The gaming show that we watched about gamers. They're making the game.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. Bear with me while I Google things again. How am I going to write that? Apple TV Plus gaming show. Mythic Quest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Mythic Quest, even though I can't remember its name. I'm having one of those days. That was an absolutely brilliant series.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And, they made it so well.
And even the lockdown episodes were great too.
Yeah, exactly. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 97%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what the heck? That's a better percentage than IMDb. Like,
Yeah.
97%. That's huge.
Good show.
So they really do make fantastic, content. But some, bringing it, importing and paying for some older stuff and, bringing it over. And, we all like Bones. We all like, that's all I'm going to talk about that too. We all like Castle. We all like that sort of stuff. Maybe if they don't want to bring that sort of stuff, they can start making stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Make it a cool, quirky detective-esque style show.
Mm-hmm.
Make a really good sci-fi. Well, actually, they are at the moment. They're doing a really good job at that too. And that sort of thing. Bring in some old animation. Don't even have to make that. Just bring in some old animation. I will watch it. I'll be your.
Well, they've got a couple of new. There's a new show called, I think it's called Suspicion.
Yeah.
It's just about come out or just come out. Series 3 of The Servant's out.
Yeah.
There's one of just a little 4-part series I'm about to talk about. Yeah, so there's plenty, and there's a at the end we're talking about a Apple TV Plus ad that's around. So we'll talk about that in a minute as well.
So my gripe is with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because we're in entertainment. So twice it's happened to me. On Star, which is on Disney Plus, you can go over and they've got all the cool, TV series. Bear with me, I'm going to look it up. I know one of them is called The Finder, which was a spin-off from Bones. Now, Bones fans are notoriously horrible to new when they bring someone new in. Okay, so even when they brought in the new boss for Bones, that lovely, beautiful woman, I can't remember her name. She's a fantastic actor, African American. For 12 months, they did not like her. And would talk trash about her. And but then they got used to her. All of a sudden, they liked her. The Finder did a couple of episodes in Bones, and then got his own spin-off. This is a guy who was military police detective in Iraq, got hit by an IED, somehow went up to his brain, we got a brain injury, and now he just has to find it. So if you're a detective now, a private eye, and you come and hire him, and he will find it. No matter what it is, he will find it. And it was funny, well done. A great series. I was so wrapped up in it. And I got to episode 13. It was the last episode of my awesome season 2. Nothing.
Not yet. Nah.
Not going to happen. This was like 2012.
Yeah.
And they cut it because the fan base for Bones didn't want to deal with it. And so it didn't get the ratings that CBS wanted. And so they dropped it. And I mean, it was so well made. It was so well done.
Yeah.
Stumptown, I think it's the other one. Let me go into TV. Where's my TV? There it is. Apple, Disney. Yep. Where are we? Search. Yeah.
Searching. Yeah.
Yeah, Stumptown was made in 2019. Now, this was, again, similar premise to The Finder, Iraqi veteran, she's a bit of an alcoholic, made from a Marvel comic, crime drama. But she was a bit loose, like she was a bit crazy. So she's been in a bunch of Marvel movies, and she's also from How I Met Your Mother. She's the main love interest of the main character of How I Met Your Mother. Ends up being the auntie, but then he ends up marrying her anyway when the wife dies. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen How I Met Your Mother. If you haven't seen How I Met Your Mother, you must live on this planet. But I can never remember her name. She's fantastic in it, though. Let me see if I can find a name, details. There we go. Yada, yada, yada.
Talking about ladies while you're looking that up. We're watching an episode of Why Women Kill. And remember Fraser's secretary?
Yep.
Yeah, she was in it.
Fraser's secretary?
Yeah. Back in the old day.
In Frasier, his secretary, it was his co-host.
Yeah, the girl.
Yeah. Well, she in it.
Oh, she was the wife of. She was just playing a bit part in the show, but cool. It was just. It's just amazing seeing someone. Sorry.
Kobe Smulders.
Yeah.
Is her name. She's a fantastic actor. And Stumptown was an amazing series again, just so good. And Disney and Star, it seems they're just putting all these one series in that they don't know what else to do with, I guess, and they're trying to make some money back or something. I don't know. Well, that was
did they see, like you're saying, The Finder, for example, was like Disney have bought it because no one else wants it now. So they just right. Basically, you knew you were getting one series, and
bought it off CBS cheap because they're not going to do anything with it. It's in their archives.
Yeah,
probably come as a package.
So,
or maybe it'll get good ratings on Disney Plus, and they'll make a new one of it because that'd be great because it was a really good show.
Yeah.
Really good show. So, anyway, that's entertainment and a rant from me because I had no gaming. So I thought, there you go.
That's all right. That's right.
That's 10 minutes of your time you won't get back.
So, Apple TV Plus debuts the official trailer of Lincoln's Dilemma. The 4-part series will premiere on Friday, February 18. iMore reports the official trailer for Lincoln's Dilemma is here. Today, Apple TV Plus debuted the official trailer for Lincoln's Dilemma, the streamer's new 4-part documentary series about the late US president. You can watch the new trailer below or to get ready for the Feb 18 premiere. Discover a side of Abraham Lincoln you've never seen before. Inspired by David S. Reynolds' book, Abraham Lincoln in His Times, Lincoln's Dilemma comes April, Feb 18. The show will be narrated by Jeffrey Wright and will feature voices of Bill Camp as Abraham Lincoln, Leslie Odom Jr. as Frederick Douglass, and it will feature a diverse perspectives on Abraham Lincoln's complex journey to end slavery. Based on acclaimed historian David S. Reynolds' award-winning book, Abraham in His Times, the series features insights from a diverse range of journalists, educators, and Lincoln scholars, as well as rare archival materials that offer a more nuanced look into the man dubbed the Great Emancipator. Set against the background of the Civil War, Lincoln's Dilemma also gives voice to the narratives of enslaved people, shaping a more complete view of America divided over issues including economy, race, and humanity, and underscoring Lincoln's battle to save the country no matter the cost. Lincoln's Dilemma will premiere. There'll be all 4 episodes of the docuseries will be available to stream on day 1. And if you want to enjoy the series in the best quality possible, check out the list of Apple TV deals. The trailer is in the link and there's more there. So, yeah, it's just another show. It gives us some history. Now, that was it there.
Fast, efficient, and affordable business-grade hosting solutions, domain registration, SSL certificates, and more. We also monitor and provide website security and update services, website builds,
Didn't get
email
that right,
hosting,
did I?
amongst other sensational products. If you have a question about your web page or your presence on the internet in general, no job is too big or too small. Visit our website today, or better yet, contact us at blueoceanwebhosting.com.au and leave your website issues to us.
Yes. So I've got to practice getting that part right. But anyway. So, yeah. Some how-tos now.
Yep.
Zarn.
Wow, bear with me, sorry. The iPhone trick that boosts your AirPods volume instantly. Tom's Guide helps us. Whether you're using the AirPod 3, AirPod Pro, or AirPod Max alongside your iPhone, there's probably been at least one time where you've wished the volume was just a little bit louder. Thankfully, there's a tweak tucked away in iOS settings app that lets you give the audio an instant boost. Perhaps your roommate is vacuuming while you're trying to get your Beyonce on, whatever the reason. It's easy to increase your iPhone's music volume using a hidden trick in the settings app. How to increase your iPhone music volume. 1. Open the settings app and tap accessibility. Scroll down and tap audio visual. Tap headphone accommodations, then switch the toggle by to the on position. You'll now see a bunch of options. Tap vocal range and switch the slider underneath to strong. And that's it. Your music and podcasts should now be louder. So there's a caveat. As your effectively amplifying the vocal part of your audio, the bass output will lower. And this is no help. All you're doing is making the voice louder.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was useless.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, just if you're in a really noisy environment, sometimes you need it to be louder. That's how you get it there.
If you listen to a don't get me wrong. If you listen to a podcast, then that would probably help. But if you're listening to a podcast and you've got it all the way up and it's just a voice, I don't see how that's going to make it any louder in the first place. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a helpful tip, because if you're listening to music and you turn it up and then all you're getting is the voice and the bass and which is also the rhythm section,
Well, you're listening to a book. What happens if you're listening to a book? What happens if you listen to a book, or you're on an aeroplane listening to something, not music?
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying, like, with a podcast or something like that, you've got it turned up. Even if you went and did that, it's only dropping out the bass, which for the podcast is not going to be any bass. There's no music or anything like that. So I'm guessing you got all your vocal. I mean, it might help it a little bit, but not much. And with music, it's just going to kill your bass and your drums and things like that. Sorry.
That's all right. How to keep iMessage from filling up your iPhone and iCloud. iMessage can occupy a deceptively large amount of space on your phone. Lifehacker helps us. When you think about freeing up storage space on your iPhone, iMessage may be one of the last things that comes to mind. However, the service tends to take up a deceptively large amount of storage space on your phone and on iCloud because we use it all the time to send photos, videos, and other large attachments. It all adds up over time. You're faced with a tough choice. Delete entire conversations to free up space, or manually select thousands of attachments to remove only the most unnecessary files. Or how to quickly free up iMessage storage on your phone. Before we start, we recommend that you update your iPhone to iOS 15. Older versions have much slower methods to clear up iMessage storage space, and iOS 15 makes it a lot easier. Update by going to Settings, General and Software Update. Review how much space iMessage is taking. Go to Settings, General, iPhone Storage, Messages. If you haven't cleared up unnecessary attachments in a long time, you could be staring at more than 10 gig of iMessage attachments. If you're ready to delete entire chats, you can tap Top Conversations and hit the Edit button in the top right. You can select all the chats you want to delete and hit the trash icon in the top right of the page. This is the fastest way to free up a lot of space, but it tends to mess with your iMessage group chats. You may have to get yourself invited to those groups again if you use this method. For a more focused approach to deleting iMessage attachments, go to Settings, General, iPhone Storage, Messages. Once again, here you can review each type of attachment, photos, videos, GIFs, and stickers and others one by one. Tap any of these categories and hit the Edit button in the top right. Then you can select all the attachments you don't need and hit the trash icon in the top right to free up space. How to reduce iMessage impact on your iCloud storage space. iCloud space is also an important part of the conversation. If you find that iMessage is taking up more iCloud space than you can afford, go to Settings, your name, iCloud, and disable messages. This will remove your text message from your iCloud backups and free up space. However, it's also stopped syncing SMS messages across Apple devices, to be aware of that. You can also go to Settings, your name, iCloud, manage storage messages, and check how much storage is occupying in iCloud. You can tap Top Conversations and remove the chats you don't want on iCloud. You can also return to the previous page, tap Disable and Delete to remove messages from iCloud entirely. There's more with pics in the link.
Awesome.
Yes.
iOS 15.4 lets you unlock your iPhone's Face ID even when wearing a mask. Here's how to set it up. This is for those of you who don't have an Apple Watch. Business Insider helps us. With iOS 15.4, you can now unlock your iPhone's Face ID even while wearing a mask. To set up Face ID with your mask, head to the Settings app and tap Face ID and passcode. You'll need to have iPhone 12 or iPhone 13 model to enable the new Face ID options. Face ID is designed to let you unlock your iPhone quickly and without any fuss. But if you've ever tried to unlock your iPhone while wearing a face mask, you'll know that there's always a bit of a fuss involved. How to set up your Face ID with a mask. First, make sure that you've updated your iPhone to iOS 15.4. This is the update that includes new Face ID features. When you turn on your phone after installing the update, it might offer you the chance to set up your new Face ID right away. But if it doesn't, we've got the answers. So, 1, open your phone settings app and tap Face ID passcode option. You'll have to enter your passcode too. Toggle on the Use Face ID with Mask. Switch then to tap Use Face ID with Mask. Voila.
Yep.
And then, hopefully, you should be able to use Face ID with a mask.
Yeah, because it looks at your eyes a lot more.
What I want you to do is email Michael with all your complaints.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the only one that knows how to fix it. Anyway, there's more notes with that.
And pictures.
So check out our links. Yeah. There's actually the real way to do that. That doesn't include bombarding Michael with emails and things like that. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you. Lastly, Apple TV Plus has a new ad. It's called Everyone But John Hamm. You know John Hamm?
I already like this.
It is a really good ad for the platform. John Hamm is best known for his role in the period drama television series Mad Men, but he has a comedic background.
He does.
So click on the link in the show notes or do a search on YouTube.
Yep. I haven't seen this yet, guys, so I'll also be looking this up. I'm a huge fan of John Hamm. He is very, very funny. Yep. He was in a very weird movie that also starred Daniel Radcliffe as a younger him as a doctor in the either late 1800s, early 1900s, who gets addicted to opium and it's dark comedy, but it's still very funny. You should check that out as well. Anything John Hamm does is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, he's a very, very funny man.
It's good.
So,
it's a good ad. I recommend you go and watch it. I don't want to give anything away. That's why I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just telling people
after the show.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yes. So thanks to Blue Ocean Web Hosting and IT Help to you for their support.
Absolutely.
Don't forget the show notes link each week on the show upload. The link being
AussieMaxZone.com.au/AMZ403. There you'll see the last 6 weeks of show notes. If you want to email us, we can get us at
Michael or Zarn at AussieMaxZone.com.au.
Now, however we pleasure your visual and hearing senses, please like us.
Yeah, it helps others find us. Yeah.
Tell your friends. We're really easy to find. If you type in Aussie Max Zone, you will find us.
Yeah. Most important, thanks to our supporters, you, our listeners and watchers. And now, over to Zarn for our infamous sign-off.
Be safe. We're still getting there. Be nice to people. It's important. Remember, an apple a day keeps the androids away. Bye.